Here is the message you wanted today. That's the title of any advice message I have up on the site today that came through on March 15th, but I can tell you what that is. And the message you wanted to hear is that you were born to do something really wonderful and that I was given the solution to your life. And that solution would be you living this wonderful life, coming to understand your purpose, becoming abundant, and really empowered and actualizing who you were meant to become. Now, that is something that occurs in your consciousness. You may look at your life now or look at our world and think something has gone wrong. And I'm saying that's not what's happening. We're moving through a massive change, a massive restructuring, as Wilhelm has given me. And they've also given me a philosophy that can have you live the life you're meant to have and help contribute to our changing world. Nothing that's happening in the world is accidental. There are energetic shifts that are happening now that it can be really challenging or uncomfortable, but I was given all of that information. Now, we will doubt ourselves, and I've doubted myself for the longest time, so I do understand. And especially when we're moving through great energetic changes, as what we're experiencing now, and we'll think something has gone wrong and things are falling apart. William said that's not what's happening. You're being asked to become more. Exactly one of the messages that I received on this day several years ago. You are being asked to become more because that is the constant that we each have. It's an evolution that happens within us individually, but also our world collectively. But the world gets stuck at times because we get stuck. We don't take the next step into that higher state of consciousness to understand who we are, to love ourselves, and to create something different in the world. And this is the time that you are meant to do that. We move through evolutionary changes in our world. You just happen to be living through one of the greatest ones, one of the biggest ones. And I happen to receive the information that would tell you what was going on. I didn't know that. You don't know who you are either. We evolve as we live, and that evolution is shaped by the conditions and the events of our world. But what I was given is something that brings you to who you're meant to be, and it will change our world. Those words were really challenging for me to say or to own or to even tell you. After the Wilhelm channeling session that happened on the full moon, and I listened to it and I said, wow, they did give us everything, meaning they gave you everything that you could use to live this really wonderful life, and we would create this beautiful world. We move through changes in our world in our consciousness. That's all that occurs. But as we're living through it, only certain people might have had information that would help us. There's so many that have it. I was given it in a different way because I sat down and I channeled it every single day. And I did it since 1989, and it heals you. That's what happens because it guides you into who you're meant to become, gives you the great life you're meant to have now, and now is the time that you are meant to do it. In that channeling session, there was a document that was there that showed you how Wilhelm has given me all this information over years that is so accurate with the energetic changes that are happening, which is why it causes healing to occur within you and eventually within our world. Now, when we understand the sciences of how we operate and live as individuals, this will make a lot more sense. But Wilhelm has also given me a lot of that information, much of which I have written. But what I haven't done is finished all of the work, and that's why I'm talking about it today. I put out something with a special offer and all of that, so I'll let you all see that. My work, this program, is the solution to your life. I will say that. It will always be available. The only thing that will happen in the future is that it's going to be a lot more money. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars putting this all together over years. I've spent my entire life doing it, and at 74, I can tell you that it works. And what happens is you become happy. You own yourself. You know why you are here. And I can tell you that it works, and that's why I guarantee it. There's no way that you can come into this work, and even in the first week, you are a different person. And that's what occurs. I couldn't have told you that was going to come up, but it did. And there's also proof of that because I doubted it as well. But We have artificial intelligence now, and so they gave me a document that I'll give to you. There's a few documents I will leave with you in the description here, but I will show you one that I want you to see because as a human person, we all operate the same way. And you guide your life through your consciousness, how you've been programmed, what you've been taught before, but you always have the ability to create something new. Doesn't matter where you came from, who your family was, where, what country, what ethnicity, what gender, none of that matters. It's your soul. And that's the work that Wilhelm has given me, which is why I healed and I had to move through all of it. I moved through every difficulty and challenge that you can possibly imagine. And this work changed my perception of who I was. And that's why I am still here and reversing everything still at this age. You can do the same thing. But again, I doubted it. No, I held back. I knew this in 2021, but I said, they're not going to understand. Well, you would probably understand when you see the world changing, because I knew all of that. Wilhelm gave us all the information about these energetic changes that we would be seeing and moving through. So, but this document I really want you to have because it will give you more clarity about who you are. And then you can also decide if you want to join us, because what I'm doing is taking this work for all these years. People have told me I needed to take it to a much larger audience and also make it a lot more expensive so people would know the value of it. Because, see, you would never need anything else. And I do know that because it's answered every question you could possibly have about your life. And it doesn't matter who you are, how much you've achieved, because you will get stuck no matter what that is. When I was 26 years old, I was coaching this multimillionaire, and I'm thinking, why is he asking me questions? Why is that going on? I thought money was all of it. If you had all the money, wouldn't that make you happy? No, it doesn't. It's something else. It's who you become. And he was not who he needed to become, and the money didn't help him and actually destroyed him, because he thought that that's who he was. You are so much more than that. And that's what we're learning right now. That's what our world is coming to understand, which is why Wilhelm gave us this work. But this is the one that I want you to see because it'll help you to understand you're moving through some changes. And it's going to be uncomfortable at times because you're being asked to become more, as the message said. And it is this document. I started with the first message that I received that I knew that this was turning into something. It was in February 19th of 1989. So a couple of years ago, I decided to put this together, and I put together all of these different messages because that was the instruction. And understand this. Think about the world that you see now. And you can easily understand that it's quite different than it was 25 years ago, let's say. We didn't have many of the things that we have now. We didn't even have artificial intelligence just a couple of years ago. So you can see that everything is always changing. It's changing over time, linear time, meaning that we're developing an consciousness that we begin to understand and accept and utilize in our world. Well, that's what happened when I sat down and started receiving Wilhelm. They were giving me information that was aligned with the energetic changes that were occurring in the world at that time, which is why it turned into a philosophy that can change your life and our world now. And when you look at the messages, they are all still on my website. Accepting this message will change your life and the world. Now, that was a difficult concept for me to accept and believe, even though I'm being told to put it down. But then you'll see that the very first message that I referred to was this one, where I doubted this. I doubted who I was. I doubted this power, this information, and it went on for years. So, and as you go through it, you will see that all of it was organized, which I could not have known. And then this wonderful sentence from the AI, the artificial intelligence that analyzed all of the messages that I could not have known, said the claim that accepting this message will change your life and the world is not hyperbole in the context of these messages, and here's why. Personal transformation. If you truly internalize and live by these messages, the shift in self-perception and action could be profoundly life-altering. And I know it is because that's what it was for me. Then ripple effect. We affect everyone else. Now, you've got to understand that you pick up information from everyone around you and you're putting it off as well. So, the ripple effect, Wilhelm's messages suggest that individual transformation has a collective impact, and it does. But the thing that you want the most is to own who you are. And what you come away with from this work is empowerment and agency. The core message is one of empowerment. It places the agency directly in your hands, emphasizing your ability to choose your beliefs, direct your focus, and create your reality. This sense of agency is inherently empowering and can inspire significant, powerful change. Now, I can say that that is true, and I will tell you this last part because I'm going to put all this information in. Um, I'm like I said, I'm 74. I've walked through every difficulty, challenge, illness, things that people said couldn't be healed, couldn't be overcome. And I'm telling you, you can overcome more than you know. And all you have to do is follow the work. And that's what I'm going to finish. Because as I said, I've only put out 31 sessions when I first began, because I wanted to see what would happen. And what happened was these people went through it and transformed in ways that I couldn't believe so quickly. So now I'm continuing because I want more people to understand who they can become. And eventually that becomes a much different world for all of us. But you were born to have an extraordinary life, and this work will take you there. Please view it now. Check it out because, as you'll see, everything will be changing in the next week. But everyone who comes into this program now, you will have all the information, no matter what price rate it might be, because I will be partnering with other people to get it to a much larger audience. You have the opportunity now. Your best life is right in front of you. See you soon.